So my research started back like 26 years ago when I first got involved with trying to figure out, uh, at that time we used to call them hormones, now they're called peptides.
Right.
But 26 years ago, nobody knew what peptides were. Nobody in the world, right? Because at that time we were talking about hormones. We were talking about hypothalamic hormones, pituitary hormones, and growth hormones. And after they're all peptides, we just found out that these are all hormones are basically a sequence of amino acids coming together in a short chain, long chains, things like that, like insulin. Insulin is a hormone, but in reality, they're all peptides. They're all actually peptides. And the funny part is the peptides.
Well, so I reached out to you because, again, it's ridiculous that it's taken this long. I wanted to get back in touch with you for some time. And then I saw you on Dave Asprey's Human Upgrade podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're not just talking Glutaril now, which I think I've subscribed to Glutaril, your glutathione product, and we'll talk about that because I think we need to kind of use that as the foundation to lead into the whole new lineup of skincare products that you've now developed. But I saw that, and somehow I didn't know that you had this new lineup. So I researched and I was like, oh, I've got to talk to Nyan again about this. And the thing is, I turned 50 since we last spoke. And so now my skin, it's always been important, right? I mean, that's what for me, from an inside out perspective, that's why I really got interested in maintaining my body's master antioxidant, which is glutathione. And that's why it is a core I every day. And I've become, just like you said, like you told me, it wasn't unusual for you to get a call from Tony Robbins at 2 a.m. from the other side of the world saying, oh my gosh, I left my glutathione in the last hotel. I need more. I've kind of got the same way, Nyan. I'm a little bit OCD about it. Like if I don't have my Glutaril, I'm like, oh no. And now I got my wife using it. And so then I see these other products and I'm like, oh, okay. And before I even get started about the products, I've got them all right here, by the way, Nyan.
Okay.
I want to go through each one. Brother, your packaging is like Apple grade. I mean, like Steve Jobs type stuff. It is beautiful. It's substantial. And the company that Gus and I co-founded, we are having these conversations right now for our foundational stack that we're working on. And I'm just looking at this. I'm like, this is so beautiful. And like, even your dropper is like if you can make a cool dropper, you found out a way to make a cool dropper, or your folks did, your team that designed this. Everything is so just world-class, man.
So we are changing the packaging. So you see the citrine and the G over there?
Yes.
They're the exact same bottle as copper peptide.
Okay.
So that's about a month and a half away. So copper peptide, the G and the citrine will look identical, the same dropper. Because this one is not a dropper, so it's a little bit, just a tiny bit off. And it was off enough for me to say that this was not good enough. But
Gotcha.
and so changing that part a little bit so that it was the same bottle as a copper, but the top would be the dropper in.
Yeah, which I love that, because at first when I got it, I was like, okay, and I watched your podcast with Dave Asprey, and he's like, I'm not sure what this is because it was a prototype, but the dropper at the top, I mean, just everything. It just looks good. It feels good that you use all glass bottles, which my wife, whenever she saw this, she's like, it's amazing because, all the Glutaril comes in glass. I'm like, she goes, I'm surprised that all skin care products don't come in glass because of the microplastics and that sort of thing. And so I was like, yeah, well, all of Nyan's stuff comes in real high quality stuff.
Well, the thing is, yeah, it's not just the microplastics, but it's the leachable studies that have to be done, especially if you're using the high grade ingredients. It becomes very critical. I mean, have we already started recording or not yet?
Yeah, well, I hit record, so we're good, and all the other stuff that was just you and I having a conversation. But yeah, we're going, man. I'm talking about the product now.
We will talk about it in product detail and what it takes to create a high grade material. Because that's at the end of the day is anybody can slap on ingredients inside a bottle, but that has nothing to do with what's actually going to work for you. At the end of the day, it's what's your body going to absorb, how much you're going to absorb. Is there anything else besides what you say it's in there? And if you're using a packaging that is not up to par, then you're going to leach some of those chemicals into the inside your product itself, and that's going to get inside your human body. So all those things have to be accounted for, and nobody's policing that. So you have to be sort of become a self-police yourself and making sure that you're doing the things correctly.
100%. And I think that's a good place to like kind of let's just get started with. I want to go back to glutaril simply because I'm not going to assume that everyone that's listening to this has heard our first conversation. So those of you who haven't listened, go back and I'll put a link to that original conversation I had with Nyan about glutaril prior to. But I think it's important to discuss because not only is that an important product that I guess has, for lack of a better word, has a DNA that leads into these new products, but also just the fact that you are the one that developed the actual modality for absorption for glutathione as a supplement. It's not effective taken orally. So just with that in mind, let's talk about your research that led to glutaril and then how it kind of evolved into these other products that we're looking at today.
So my research started back like 26 years ago when I first got involved with trying to figure out, uh, at that time we used to call them hormones. Now they're called peptides.
Right.
But 26 years ago, nobody knew what peptides were. Nobody in the world, right? Because at that time we were talking about hormones. We were talking about hypothalamic hormones, pituitary hormones, and growth hormones. And after they're all peptides, we just found out that these are all hormones are basically sequence of amino acids coming together in a short change, long change, things like that. Like insulin, insulin is a hormone, but in reality, they're all peptides. They're all actually peptides. And the funny part is the peptides. There are two types of peptides, and the reason I got so involved with the glutathione was because it's one of the only peptides that is actually what we call them a worker bee. That means they do the job for you instead of telling your body what to do. For example, if you take insulin, it's telling your body to literally reduce the sugar load down and try to find the sugar loads and help reduce them down. But it does not do anything else. But besides that, it also causes all kinds of other atherosclerosis and things like that. But it's a signaling molecule, or what we call as bioregulators. It regulates your body. It tells you what to do. Doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Versus glutathione doesn't tell your body what to do. It just goes and does it. So to me, the difference is having a mother-in-law in your house versus a maid, right? Mother-in-law is going to tell you what to do versus the maid is going to do the work it's supposed to do in the first place. And in my house, I'd rather have a maid all day long. I love my mother-in-law, but it's one of those things that you want to have a person that's actually doing the job for you, that they're not doing rather than just telling you what to do. And so the research that I first started was on this peptides, because modulating peptides, increasing levels of peptides, or balancing those peptide levels in your body is what I felt was the ultimate longevity solution. And the longevity is not this master molecule that you're going to find somewhere in some part of the world that, hey, if you do this thing, if you take this product and you will live forever. It doesn't exist. Whatever we need to live longer is within our body inside. And what we need is a balance, not something more or less of it. And so when I first identified that glutathione is that master molecule, the reason is because it's the most abundant peptide produced in the human body. I said, if the body produces so much and if it needs so much, there has to be a use for it for the rest of our life. And so my job was trying to figure out what the uses are. But more importantly, first of all, can I get it inside your body? And so when I found out that if you take IV glutathione, it doesn't get inside your cells. If you take all those technology products, I made the first liposomal form of glutathione back in 1999, and the results were not there to 100% to assure that everybody's going to get benefit out of it. And so I was on the quest of figuring out how to get inside my body, right? So, and you basically just said to me right now, when I first talked about this thing 26 years ago, people were not even in the same hemisphere. I said, what are you talking about? Can you just make me some vitamin C? I mean, I'm so far-fetched. It's like we have cell phones today, and people are telling me that, oh, no, no, just write on a piece of paper, put a stamp in the mail it, and that's how we communicate. I said, no, brother, we have gone too far. From there, we have gone to the telephones, to the telephone stuck to the wall, and now the telephone is actually inside my pocket right now. I mean, it's just gone nuts, right? And so it was too far-fetched at that time, so I could not connect with people. And we are here today because it took me 26 years to actually perfect the system to get inside your body, use it for multiple years to identify all the uses of it. And today it is now open and available to the public to use it and enjoy and actually have a fighting chance to create longevity by increasing your health span.
Well, and one of the things I think is very important about your product too, Nyan, is like we're talking about the delivery mechanism and how it has to be topical, how you were the one that was able to crack the code on how do we create a topical solution that actually is bioavailable to the body at the cellular level. So talk a little bit about that. And the reason why is because when people ask me about it, like, and I'm not just saying this because I love you and I think you're an amazing guy, which I do. Creatine and your product, Glutaril, are my two non-negotiables every day. I'd say a very close third is probably essential amino acids, but those are three that are going to be with me on board everywhere I go when I travel. And so people always ask me, just like I'm sure they do you, just like you said, what do I need for my immune system? What do I need to stay healthy? And they want you to give them a laundry list of supplements or whatever, to which, I hate that question because I'm like, well, I haven't seen your blood work. I don't know what you need. But I'll tell you, I take all these things and they'll hear that and they'll hear this podcast and they'll say, oh, I need to start managing my glutathione levels. And they'll just go out and they'll try to find something off the shelf. So let's talk a little bit about not only why do they need a topical solution, but why it is that that's important and why the delivery of it through a topical means is critical to the effectiveness of the supplement that they're taking.
When I first embarked this journey, I wanted to make sure that I don't get into a false sense of security where I am telling my research team is to, hey, make me a product in this dosage form, in this way, and this way only. I told my team, I said, hey, we are going to go down this journey, and our job literally is to observe and see what the body wants and how it's going to take it. So we didn't go this journey to make a topical product. It just happened to be that that's the only way, that's the best way that your body can use it up completely intact. And from that technology, we even found a new way to communicate with the human body. Because until now, if you want to transport any nutrients inside your body, you eat something, your body breaks it down, absorbs it into the bloodstream will go all over the body and all the lymphatic systems, and it will deliver the molecule at the tissue levels, and you think that's your job is done. There's a second transfer system, which is from cell to cell. And I never realized, because we always thought that if you touch something hot, the brain can signal, hey, take the finger off that hot stuff, because there's the neurons that is sending signal, electrical signal, that within seconds sends it, no, not even seconds, it's like a 0.0 seconds, right? Sends your brain the message, and boom, the finger just comes off the hot stuff. Wait a second. The same system that the neurons have it, there's a similar system like that even for transport nutrients. And that's when I first recognized that part, that if you apply something topically, the cells on your skins will take the molecule and transport from one cell to another until it reaches the whole body. And I first identified that and said, wait a second, I applied something topically, and a researcher in Pittsburgh identified that it's in your brain within seconds. How does it get there? How does it get there? It is not in the blood yet. It is from cell to cell transfers. And so I just want to make sure I preface this whole thing by letting people know that I didn't embark on this journey to create a topical product. I just found out that this was the most efficient way to get inside your body and get it inside where it's supposed to go. So let me peel back now. I'll tell you my story, because this is very critical. When I first started making the liposome form of glutathione, because at that time, back in the late 90s, that was the number one technology in the pharmaceutical world to deliver pharmaceutical drugs. And I said, oh my God, this would be great for nutraceuticals, because like vitamin C, CoQ10, glutathione, PQQ, all these different molecules were so hot at that time that, hey, if I can figure out how to deliver inside your body, my job was done. And my job is, even after 26 years, still not done yet, but I thought that'll be easy to get it done. So I made the liposome products, and the results were there, but not 100%, and I could not figure out why it was not happening. Then I look back at the research saying that, hey, in 1991, there was a study done on intravenous form of glutathione, that people were injecting glutathione, and all it did was it stayed in the plasma, which is the water part of the blood, did not enter the blood cells, and the kidney filters the plasma out every 5 to 15 minutes, and there was a 300-fold increase of glutathione in the urine. So everything was getting dumped out. I said, okay. So I said, you know what? I know if that is true, if we cannot, you're putting it still in the bloodstream, it's still not getting everywhere. How the heck do you imagine is going to go through your mouth, get into the bloodstream, get inside your cells, and then transport it? Zero chance. Zero chance. So that's why I put two and two together. I said, okay, if that's the case, my best bet is at least I'll inject it into the humans. Well, I have 5 to 15 minutes of responses, and that might be good enough for me until I can figure out something else. So we did. So I made the IV form of glutathione for like 20 plus years. I sold a whole bunch to all over the country, and at least give some people some chance to have at least glutathione in the body for a little bit. In 2011, a researcher out of Texas did a similar study like the IVs, and what they found out was liposomal form of glutathione was actually not getting absorbed either. In both the studies, 1991 and 2011, both studies, what they found out was, either way, the way the glutathione actually worked was the body breaks it down into amino acids, absorbs the amino acids, use that to make your own product again, and that's what it's being used to inside your body. Now, this is true. This is true for the peptides that are actually doing the work for you. If you're just a signaling molecule like insulin, it doesn't matter. You can inject it. The message gets to you. It's, hey, there's a message to reduce the sugar levels, or you take GLP-1 right now, which is the weight loss drug. This is, by the way, we have gone through like 4 or 5 different iterations of GLP-1s until something worked, by the way, okay? So don't assume that the GLP-1, which is a miracle drug today, was the first and we found a magic weight loss drug. No, 10, 15 years ago when the first drug got approved, did not work. Then the second drug came out, did not work again, right? And then now the third or fourth one comes out, oh my God, this thing works really amazing. And now there's different variations of those things. So these are signaling molecules. It gives this body the signal, hey, do this job, and the body does the job for you. But the glutathione is actually the worker bee. That means it does the work for you. In order for it to do the work, the body can only produce itself. Going to the cell membrane is like going. It's harder to get into the cell membrane than harder to get into Fort Knox. That's how tightly regulated this cell membrane is. And so we had to get a technology to actually accept the body. The cell membrane has to accept it on its own. We cannot push. You cannot force it in. The body has to take it, and if the body takes it, our job is done. If you force it in, the body is just going to try to fight back with you. So we found sugar molecules that the body takes it. Instead of sugar molecule, we stuff the glutathione inside. So we have two-part technology. And when the body got the sugar molecule, inside was glutathione, that's how we got transported. And when we did that part, the only way we can do that was through mucosal membrane, so like nasal passages or your skin. Now the pH was so low that if I tried to skirt through my nose, it was painful. It was a burning sensation. So by the skin, no issues. And so finally, after like years of trying to figure that portion out, we found out that the skin was the only route that was available to deliver small peptides to your body.
Thank God there's people like you with big brains that can figure this stuff out. I mean, seriously. So, and it's a polysaccharide sugar that's actually being used to make that transport, right? And so, that just blows my mind that, I mean, how did you, now help me out in my non-medical brain using the polysaccharide? Was that just because you knew the cell would accept that so that if you could get the glutathione in there, then hey, we could kind of, I mean, it's not a Trojan horse. It's more like just the cell would be like, oh, you've got the right ticket. Come on in. You're not here to hurt us. Come on in. Like, what made the polysaccharide the one that came to top, or was there no other? That's just because of your scientific mind. Well, the only thing that would work would be a polysaccharide. So then the question is, do we get the glutathione into the polysaccharide to get it? Was that the challenge at that point? Like how did you think through that?
You don't. You really do not know. As far as we know about human physiology, we don't know anything about it.
Okay.
It's you just hope that the body will take it.
Okay.
He said, right? And by the way, just because I've got this technology piece in there and I can transfer into the system, the body can actually reject it.
Yeah.
Spit it out. It can. The best part is that the body once it gets into a cell membrane, to our astonishment, we found out that the body actually was not spitting it out and was actually using the molecule for its advancement.
Wow.
And so it's like you just hope that you're doing the right thing. And when you do the right thing, it took me 14 more years of research before I even launched the product to the public. Because just when I made the product in 2007, I was not ready to give it to the public yet.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Now I still have more questions now. I said, okay, I got this system delivered now. Now what? Right? How long can I give it? How often can I give it to you? Am I going to get any problems? If I give it for 10 years, what am I going to see? If I give it 2 months, what am I going to see? So I had all these questions, and I said, and even in 2021, it was right in the middle of pandemic that I launched the company, which I had, if you can imagine 2021, the supply chain was not available. The whole world was shut down still, right? Nothing was there. And in the middle of this whole thing, I said, I'm going to launch a new company. What are you talking about? Where are you going to get the materials from? And the good thing is we control everything in the United States. So it was easy for me to launch a product in the United States. But it was one of those things that I was not even ready to launch it yet. But the response from the pandemic, what we found out that it exposed how weak our human body is. We are dying by the millions is not because the virus was stronger than the humans. It's because the humans were not strong enough to fight it.
That's exactly right.
And
well said.
And so my job was that, okay, if I can enhance glutathione levels in people, then at least I can give a fighting chance for the human to fight with this thing. It's an invader that the body has. There's no drugs coming for rescue, by the way. There's no drugs that is going to come and rescue us from these invaders that's out there. None. In my pharmacy, I'm still a pharmacist. I still fill prescriptions, and I can tell you, over 3,000 prescriptions that I fill for different types of medication, nothing is going to solve the problem for humans and keep you safe forever. None. It's
Right.
just to temporarily relieve the problems, symptoms, and that's about it. And so I had to strengthen my own immune system, strengthen my own body physiology and the human potential. And the only thing that I had at my arsenal at that point was glutathione. And I knew glutathione was the most abundant molecule. I got it delivered when it's supposed to go there. And the rest, I said, okay, can I just sit back and get some popcorn and just watch the movie now? Right? That's what I was hoping for. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that since I started supplementing with my Glutaril, I honestly, and I guess it's been 2 or 3 years, Nyan, and I can't really think. I know I haven't thrown up from an illness in that period, so I know that has not happened. And as far as colds, my colds are, if I've had one, it's very short lived, very short lived. Now, of course, too, and I want you to touch on this a little bit. I don't drink alcohol at all. I don't even toast at weddings. I'm not saying that it's not because of scruples. It's not because anything's bad, but I will say, I think in our last conversation, or maybe it was in your book or somewhere, which by the way, folks, this is how important it is. The Glutathione Revolution is a book that Nyan wrote just on this one molecule. It's that big of a deal. But I got into this mindset that if I drink any alcohol, it's just going to wipe out my glutathione levels. So it kind of freaked me out, which is probably a little bit of an overstatement, but that's it. But it helped. That's why I thought about it. So, talk a little bit about how like based on age, how much our body typically, and I know it's not like exactly you turn 50 and boom, kind of like, but it is sort of like VO2 max or something. There are some age benchmarks that you're going to have to start working harder to keep it at a certain level. So talk about the trajectory of glutathione levels in the human body, male versus female, and kind of like when people really need to start paying attention to this. And then if you want to throw in some environment and lifestyle choices that may be working against their glutathione levels. And then I promise I want to get to the other products, but I just want everybody, it's so important to me that this audience really understand, because I can tell you, and I don't know if you face this, I mean, it's the world you're in all the time, but everybody knows what creatine is. Most people know what, branched chain amino acids, all the other, the top line supplements, nutraceuticals. Glutathione is one of those that usually I get to feel smart when I tell people because they've never even considered it and don't know anything about it. So talk a little bit about how our levels kind of dip over our lifetime and some of the things that contribute to that.
So our body has the capacity to make glutathione for the rest of our lives. And it can do very well by just taking the 3 amino acids, combining with 2 enzymes, needs 2 ATP energy for the mitochondria, an NAD molecule for electron transfer, and that's it. I mean, it's simple, right? It's just 2 steps, a couple of enzymes, couple of energy, couple of 1 NAD molecule to electron transfer, and voila, you have your glutathione. The issue is that it is not a simple process where you press a button, the glutathione comes out in your body. It's not that easy. And even though it requires energy and NAD to make glutathione, the body has a system built in to recycle this glutathione production so that you don't lose it all the time. Because making a molecule this important, the body doesn't want to lose it for no reason. So the body has a system to built in to recycle this as well. So the good thing is that if there are certain things in your body that can wipe it off completely, glutathione, and the body has to make a new one. And certain things the body can use up the glutathione, gets it oxidized, get it reduced again, and keep on doing over and over and over again. Alcohol is one of them molecule that actually wipes out your glutathione level. And you're absolutely right. 1 drink of alcohol can reduce the glutathione levels for 4 hours to 0.
Yeah. Wow.
So it is absolutely, I don't drink alcohol, and that's one of the reasons too. The last thing I had, I think a couple of years ago, I had one of my friends' birthday. I took a sip of it, but just for his honor. I don't want to do anything. But then I just gave it away to my friends. Hey, I'll take a sip of it so that you think that I had something with you, but that's about it. I gave it to my friend. I sprayed the glutathione on right away. It's just not in front of him, of course. But it's one of those things that I do not want to ever do it again.
Yeah.
Right. So besides alcohol is something that we already, it's part of that. You have a choice. And so is smoking, cigarettes and tobacco. And it's not about tobacco, but any smoke inhalations, right? Could be cigars, could be from fireplace, could be from cooking, having a candle in your house. All those things, parts of combustion is actually increasing toxic load in your body. And it will reduce the glutathione levels. Inhaling smoke inhalations or pollutions from the environment, and exposing yourself to toxic chemicals from laundry detergents to cleaning supplies and things like that. All this will reduce the glutathione levels. So if we start putting all those things together, what we do see in our body is around the age of 30 to 35 is when we first see that your body is in need of glutathione, and what your body can produce is actually decreasing for the very first time.
Okay.
And it's not, I think what's happening is that the usage is so high, the body cannot keep up with the demand. And once it starts reducing for the very first time, there's a gap between, this is called oxidation, right? Oxidation happens every single day because you're breathing oxygen. But oxidation does not rust your nails. Like when you have a nail, it starts rusting. That's oxidative stress. But oxidation happens every single day. If it's exposed to the environment, having oxidation happen all the time. But it's not rusting all the time. Once you start to rust, that means guess what happened? The gap between how much your body needs and what the body can produce has gone to a point where it can never come back. And this is called the rust, or we call it oxidative stress. And when the stress increases, that's the onset of issues starts happening. And this thing it goes on for 10, 15 years before it shows up in your blood test, a scan, or something, right? And so from 30 to 40, 45, maybe 50 is when you decide, okay, the doctor said that I have this disease now. Well, the disease started 15, 20 years ago. When you first had this imbalance in your body's production of glutathione and what your actual needs are going to be. So that my goal is always can I go back to normal? If I go back to normal, can I wipe off all the damage that has been done? And the short answer is you can, as long as it has not gone point of no return, right? Once you already rusted, you cannot get rid of the rust. You can scrape it off and you can protect the rest of it, but the small little piece is already gone. But in the humans, we have the ability to produce new cells. We have the ability to regenerate our human body. So guess what? We are not like the nails. We are a little bit better than that. We can produce new products inside our body. So folks, I'm telling you, if there's no disease, if the organ hasn't changed to a place that now there's no point of no return, you can reverse all those damages back to normal. And that's my hope for everybody else. So yes, it does start about the age of 30s. In both male and female, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. But if you're at the age of 40, 45, I can assure you your levels are low. If you're 50 and above, I can assure you that levels have been low for a long time. But if you've not done something good about it, it has gone to a point where something has been changing in your body. So if you're 30 and above, I would suggest do whatever it takes to improve the glutathione levels. That means eat the 3 amino acids, cysteine, glycine, glutamine, improve mitochondrial functions, making sure there's enough ATP energies, make sure the NADs are there. That means the NAD is plenty of them available. So I don't believe in NAD supplementations. You don't have to, but of course, if you have to do that as well, go ahead and do that for temporarily. But do whatever it takes to have all this balance, all this available to you in the body. If you do that part, I can tell you that over my 15 years of researching this molecule, you can start reversing some of the problems in your body. I don't care if you're even at the age of 80, you can start reversing some of those problems. So.
And I think that should be encouraging to anyone listening to this, because it's one of the things that I try to bring home as much as I can to anybody that'll listen, Nyan, is that it's never too late to start. There's always, and now there's more hope than ever. And not only that, there's never been a more critical time to do these protocols because we are living in a pretty toxic environment. There's just so much in our water, in our air. Everything's got plastic all over. And so I think that these sorts of combatants to the toxic environment, which we just reside in, even in the best of cases sometimes, is just more critical now than ever. And it's just low-hanging fruit. I mean, what we're talking about doing here with this is not going and killing yourself in a gym, although you need to exercise, you need to train, you need to make sure that you do the things to keep your cardiovascular system strong and work on lean body mass. But some of these other things too, healing the inside of your body, it can be done. And to your point, I mean, you have proven that. And that's when I started researching your work a number of years ago, it was so encouraging to me from that standpoint, because, like I said, I'm a half a century old. I want to live at least another 50 to 55 years, but I just want to be alive. I want to be functioning and active and doing fun things whenever I'm 100 years old. It's not enough just to be here. To me, I want to function at the highest level possible.
And you'll be mentally sharp because the brain consumes the highest number of oxygen. It's like if you breathe oxygen every single second of your life, guess what? 20% of all the oxygen that you breathe in goes to your brain. If you breathe less, it doesn't really matter. The brain gets the first because, and most people do not even know how to breathe normally. They're shallow breathers. They just breathe the top part of the lung. They never go deep breathing. They don't even know what deep breathing is. And so if they're shallow breathers, the body's not getting the oxygen. Everything is going to your brain. And so the brain has the highest amount of oxidative stress. And today, well, there is nothing in my arsenal that I can reverse any brain disease. None.
Yeah.
If I have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, I don't care what problems you've got, right? If you're betting that there'll be a drug available to reverse those problems for us, it's not coming.
Exactly. Well, okay. Now with that, I want to start talking about some of these new products because, and also real quick, there seems to be a trend. I got to tell you about a really cool story, Nyan, that happened to me about 2 years ago. I'm in New York City at one of our favorite restaurants, and I'll look up, and all of a sudden, and we're at the very second to last table, and I'll look up, and there's Bono walking in, and he's there with his wife, and then Ed Burns is there with his wife, which is Christy Turlington, one of the very first supermodels, right? And if you know anything about Christy Turlington, she does not do any Botox. She doesn't use any, is anti-plastic surgery. And I think there's a trend in Hollywood with a lot of these folks not doing this, but yet everyone still wants to have the most vibrant, beautiful skin possible. I'm one of them. I know I'm not immune to the signs of aging, but I don't want to have anything injected. I don't want to, I want to be like Robert Redford. I just want to age gracefully, or maybe like Brad Pitt. That dude's a vampire. He looks amazing. I don't know if he is that. I want to age like Brad Pitt. He's got 10 years on me. And so when I saw you and Dave Asprey talking, you guys were talking about the copper tripeptide. That's this one, folks. If you can see, folks, I'm going to try to put this up, and I'll have all of this in the show notes and where you can get it. So the only thing I knew about copper being used in something like this, Nyan, you talked about back during the pandemic. I remember thinking, wow, we should probably all be eating with copper forks, because they have a very strong antibacterial. That's just my non-scientific mind. But tell me how this product came into being and what was the thought process in developing it?
So again, the copper is just a fancy name to it.
Okay.
But the real product is another tripeptide called GHK.
Okay.
So another peptide that a body actually makes it, and actually it doesn't create a peptide. What it is, GHK is a fragment of plasma. So what happens is that as the plasma gets older, it just disintegrates, and the body makes a new plasma in your blood. And so the old plasma gets rid of it, but the body, what it does is it doesn't dump everything away, right? It takes so much time to make something. So it's trying to figure out a way to recycle some of those plasma into different parts of the body. So the plasma is broken apart. A tripeptide called GHK is created from that plasma. That GHK combines to a copper molecule inside your blood, and that molecule gets lodged into joints and soft tissues, and it's actually great for tissue repairs and wound healings and things like that from inside. So our body has a system built in to repair every single thing from inside.
Wow.
So now I figured out, I said, okay, now I can wait for the plasma. And the thing is, as you get older, guess what happens to your plasma? There's dirty and filthy. Dirty, filthy plasma. I mean, today, I don't know if I'm sure you already know this part, but the thing is, all these people, they're spending $10,000 for one treatment to remove the plasma, clean it up, and put it back in there. I mean, if you have that kind of money, and this one treatment is not going to do anything, so you schedule for 4 to 5 treatments. And I'm in Los Angeles area. I know a lot of clients of mine. They will spend $50,000 and go clean the blood out once a month for the next 5 months in a row. And guess what happens? It's dirty again. You know why? Because the problem is all the imagine your house and you take the trash out. If you take the trash out, is your house clean?
No,
No, just the
no,
trash can is clean.
100%. Yeah.
The trash can is clean, not your house. So guess what you do? You dump more trash in the trash can again.
Right.
Clean up again, and clean up again. And by doing so, if your house is not going to be stopped from getting dirty, the trash can never be empty. So this is not something that is going to be solve all problems. But anyway, so that's off topic a little bit. I just want to let you know what plasma is. But as you get older, the plasma gets dirty, filthy, and it's not producing all this GHK molecule. And so the skin starts aging really fast because it's not getting, because the first GHK goes for tissue repairs and wound healing and things like that from inside. The body doesn't send it to the skin. The body sends it inside for other joints issues. And so I figured, I said, I have a technology. I have a technology that can take a tripeptide and get it to your skin cells. Wait a second, what am I doing? So about 4 or 5 years ago, I created this product, all right? And of course, when I create first thing, I never believe in my own technology products first. So I give it to a whole bunch of doctors, and doctors, oh my God, I love this product. I love this product. And I says, okay, well, my doctors just, sometimes they make me want to feel good, so they keep on telling me. And I said, okay, Dr. Vickery was one of them too. I gave it to him as well. He tried it. Oh, I love this product. I said, well, I know, but you just like me, what I do. But
He says he's still using them, Nyan. He told me today, he's like,
I,
I'm still using everything he gives me.
yeah, but the thing is, I still don't believe my own product sometimes, right?
Sure.
So after about 3 or 4 years, last year comes around, and I said, you know what? There was one guy called me up and said, hey, it grew my hair. I said, okay, I'm bald. I said, well, if that's the case, hey, let me try on myself first. So for the first time, I started using on myself, right? In January. In February, end of February, they gave us an award for the best technology, the most innovative technology in the cosmetic industry, period, and they have seen. This was a worldwide award. They were giving the award to me. I thought it was a crank call when I first got the call. But they said, no, we'll send you. You can come to Miami and receive your awards. It is all paid for. Everything is done. I said, okay, if you can put the money to it, that means it's real. So I'll go there, right? So I was using the copper peptide for about 6 weeks. When I go there, and as one of the award recipient, they put my head in this camera with like 3 or 4 different types of lights, 2 or 3 different cameras from all angles, front and back, every single thing. And I said, hey, let me take a picture of your face and show you how your skin is performing. Do you take any sunscreen, sunblocks? What do you use on your face? I said, I don't use anything. Nothing. I don't even wash my face half the time. I just go to sleep, and my wife hates it sometimes, but that's okay. I don't use, I use hotel soaps. As if she goes, what are you doing with hotel soaps? What's wrong with you? Anyway, so I didn't use much product except for the copper peptide, and I used my cream as on top of it because the copper peptide was a little, it dries up my skin up a little bit, so I have to use something as a moisturizer on top of it. I said, okay, that's all. That's only 2 things I use. I said, oh, fantastic! No sunscreen, nothing. You live in California. Let me show you how your skin look like. So they take a picture. The lady looks at it and said, oh, you know what? Can I take one more picture? I'm so sorry. Put your head again. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute because they had to set up a whole lighting, everything else. Takes a picture again. And she goes, wow, what do you do again? I said, no, nothing. I said, you know what? So a few other doctors came by to see it. I says, oh my God, I had zero sun damage spot on my whole face. And I'm out in sun the whole time. And I had 0 sun damage spots on my whole face. My tracks on my lips were not existing. My crow's feet, I'm 54 years old, and my crow's feet was not there. And the lady goes, what the hell? What is this thing? They saw a whole bunch of clogged pores on my nose. But I don't use soap anymore. Since then, I've been using soap. But the lady goes, I need this product now. I've never seen somebody's skin like this before. So externally, I may be okay, whatever it is. Internally, it's like the skin was like healing. I said, wait a second. Where is this coming from, right? The only difference was the copper peptide. I was using a cream beforehand already, just my own creams, the Rise and Revive and the Rest and Repair. I'm a guy. I don't have all the things. I use both the products into one time and just apply everything in once in the morning only. That's it. And so I was using that product only, and then I had a couple peptide to it, and the whole game changed for me. I come that day back to my office, and I told my team, I said, "Hey, we're launching copper peptide." I said, "What? Thank you. What changed now?" I said, "I just saw my picture." I said, We've been telling you this thing is an amazing product, but you never believed in your own science." I said, "Well, until I see it firsthand and I really see it myself, then I'll launch it." So then I put all the money in there and launched the product at last year because of that one little thing, right? So
Well, and I gotta say, Nyan, your skin does look, dude to dude, your skin looks amazing. I mean,
well,
since last time we talked, you have not aged at all. And I'm on well, I got the package you sent me, which by the way, thank you. And by the way, folks, not only am I not making any money by talking about these products because I don't do pay to play, Nyan doesn't either. Just so you know, I mean, the way he honors his research and everything, and I'd love for you to tell that story about your foundation, Nyan, if you want to. It's just one of the most amazing things I think that you do. But I have started using it now this week, and so I took a before picture, and I'll be taking them along the way, and I'll send them to you. I mean, like I said, on my second day, and the timing was perfect because I just had. I go to my dermatologist once a year, and it used to be called Halo, but now it's the intense laser that removes all the sunspots, the top layer of skin, and so I just finished doing that. Guess 2 weeks ago. And so now my skin is completely healed from that. And now I'm using all of the product that you sent me. So I'm really excited to see, kind of how it looks. Cause I do try to maintain really good skincare.
So yeah, and by the way, all the laser treatments I'm doing is removing the surface layer.
Mm-hmm.
The damage is all the way through.
Yep. Yep.
So it's going to come back again. No matter
Yeah.
what, it's going to come back again. So with this copper peptide is actually allowing the body to basically use up the own natural GHK that your body has anyways.
I love it.
And the thing is, skin it's a massive organ. It's an organ, but it doesn't get the TLC that your body wants to give it to them because by the time it gets to the skin, it gets used up inside the body first time.
Yeah.
And so your skin is the last organ that gets any benefits. So the only benefit you're going to get is from outside sources.
Right.
So that's what this thing is all about. By the way, in my skincare, so I want to give you my load of my skincare, the way I designed this whole thing, because I believe the skincare needs to be simple. I believe that all the ingredients that your body needs to be delivered in one or two products only. And if you have the technology to do that part, you don't need anything else in the whole world. And you can mask the problems and they will come back over and over again, or you can heal the skin on its own by the body's own mechanism. And that way you can enjoy a smoother, a better skin for the rest of your life. Because if you can live to 105, that's what you said right now.
Yeah.
If you live to 105, the only difference people will know is your skin texture.
Yeah, that's true.
Opposite of your brain.
Yep.
The way you walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you and the shuffling is not because you cannot walk, is because the brain is not connected to your feet. That hey, can I take a giant step or no? I'm not sure yet. So the oxidative stress kicks in. So all these things plays into the longevity space. And I'm telling you, we literally have to detoxify the whole body completely clean of all this toxic exposure. If we do that part, at 105, you're climbing the mountains, you're going to places, you're doing what you want to do at the age of 50, and you're now at 105 years of age. So skin.
Right.
So let me just talk about skincare. So I have two serums, which is my flagship serums. Now everybody knows glutathione, that's one of the serums. The second one is citrine, which is vitamin C. Now, as you know, vitamin C is not produced by humans, right? We don't produce
Right. Right.
We don't produce vitamin. So do we need vitamin C? No, we don't need vitamin C. It's a stimulant. It's a stimulant to increase collagen, right? So it's telling the body to produce collagen. To produce collagen, the body needs what? Amino acids. Now, you can take the amino acids from outside sources and eat them all day long, which I'm not saying you should not do that part. But the basic amino acids is in the citrine. Now, if when the face of the label it doesn't say that part because I never revealed what my marketing strategies, but in the citrine, I have amino acids built into that to help stimulate the collagen production, and I give them the amino acids it needs to produce their own collagen. So you don't have to go look anywhere else. Hey, body, you make collagen. Here's a stimulant, and by the way, here's amino acids you need to make your own collagen. Great, done. So that's a citrine. Then the G serum is at the evening, which is the glutathione serum, which is anything that happens to you, I would reverse everything every single day. So that's a G serum. And the moisturizers that goes along with it, like the Rise and Revive, the white bottle, it's in the
Got it.
I need to have CoQ10 because I need the mitochondrial energy. I need to have carnosine, which is another potent antioxidant, which is the ORAC value keeps on increasing every time you use it. The third thing is I have CoQ10. I have vitamin C. I also have DMAE in there.
DMAE.
DMAE is another. It's a fish protein to make your skin tighter. So because I want people to look good throughout the day, and then the rest of repair in the evening is okay. Now you go to sleep. Let me repair everything, right? So the rest of the repair is based on resveratrol. Take all the toxic things out of your system, and it's an antioxidant. And the cycloestrogenol, which is the only thing that we have known to help increase telomeres for the DNA repair.
Oh, wow.
So that's the evening cream. And we have the technology to basically take all these ingredients, compress it, put it in the polysaccharide molecules, and deliver it to you at full concentration.
Wow.
So you're literally taking like 7 or 8 different products or 9 different products into this one system.
So you and Gus are definitely of the same mindset as scientists, because that's one of the things that he did with the foundational stack that we created, or he created. That was it was 18 bottle caps into 3 for the very reason you said. I mean, if you overwhelm people with bottle caps and a big long regimen, it doesn't make you a bad human, it just makes you human. We're just not going to do it. And so, yeah, this is a very, very a simple protocol to follow. Now, one of the questions I do have, I want to ask you, because I'm still taking my glutaril in the morning and the evening. Do I still need to take the double dose the morning and evening, even though I'm now taking the G antioxidant serum, or is in addition to, is that overkill, or the more the better? What is your thought?
No, more is not better. It's an overkill.
Okay.
So I would skip the glutathione at nighttime if you're using the
Okay.
Yeah, you can skip
Okay.
it at nighttime. I think it's a waste of money personally.
Okay.
Now, if you're not healthy, then everything is good for you, right? So I would say go and use, but you're a very healthy person, you're a very health conscious person, and there's no need to spend extra money for this thing at all. So I would skip the glutathione at nighttime if you're using the G serum already.
All right, I'm gonna have to give this is gonna probably crack you up. So I'm gonna have to give my mom some of this, because the first time I got her and my dad to take some glutaril, she's up in years, in her 70s, and so she's real worried about her wrinkles. And so and the sulfur that's in the glutaril.
Yes.
So she decides to apply it to her face. And my dad goes, Jason, he said, is that stuff supposed to smell like that on her? And she put it on her face. I said, well, why did she put it on her face, Dad? No, you don't do that. You put it on your arm or your stomach or something. I said, and by the way, after it's been applied for 15 minutes or so, you can go wipe that off, I said, but no, you don't. She was like spot treating with glutaril. And I was like, oh no. So I figured you'd get a kick out of that. But now we saw this. If my mom gets this, she can actually put it on her face and she's doing the exact right thing. It's okay.
And by the way, you can put the glutathione on the face as well.
Okay. Well,
the
my
smell
dad
is
didn't want
there.
to kiss her after that, Dr. Patel.
No, yeah. That's true. That is true.
But I do think, and the thing I like about this too is like with the DMAE. So I guess that would be that's a more of a natural, retinol, I think, is what is in everything to tighten, right? Which all that does, and you know, baby, I'm not trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. If I understand retinol in most products, it tightens because it inflames, where I got to believe that DMAE is not going to have an inflammation component to it. It's just going to naturally firm the skin. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. So retinol is a vitamin A derivatives,
Yeah.
and vitamin A is a very, very toxic,
Yeah.
right? It's like doing Botox. Yeah, it's small doses. It does the work for you, but it's absolutely toxic chemical for your body. Because
Right.
vitamin A has I mean, literally, it's a prescription item. And even a prescription item, it's a cancer-causing agent at high concentration. So I I normally prefer everybody not to take vitamin A derivatives at all, period. Right? In my own household, right? I I see once in a while, like I have a 18-year-old daughter, and she goes, "Dad, can you give me some retinol products just for this one day because I had this pimples coming out and I had this." I said, I can get you that product, and I know it's not good for you. I said, but change your habits because that's showing up because your inflammatory diet. And he goes, Dad, I'm 17. Of course I have an inflammatory diet. What's wrong with you? Right? I'm gonna eat what I want to eat. And so they don't want to change anything, they just want a product. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I sometimes, I say no, but they'll go behind the back to the pharmacy and pick it up themselves. Right?
Yeah.
They're gonna do what they're gonna do, but they know how bad it is for them as well, and so they do use it once in a while here and there. But overall, they will avoid every single time if it's possible.
Good. And that kind of leads us into the last thing I want to talk to you about. I mean, like, your products are amazing. These are going to enhance your body's natural production, the things that are happening anyway. But when it comes to nutrition, like, let's face it, I'm going to probably title this something to do with skincare because and I know that's going to get a lot of eyeballs because it's the one thing that it's so hard to maintain no matter what you do, especially without outside intervention. So in addition to these incredible products, Nyan, what are some low-hanging fruit things that people can do to protect their skin from a nutritional standpoint, from an environmental standpoint? What would you suggest to do to enhance taking these things as well?
So there's two things I always say. Of course, you have to avoid the environmental toxins as much as possible. That's already given. The two things I normally suggest to people is one, please drink plenty of water.
Okay.
And I mean water. I don't mean coffee. I don't mean sodas. I don't mean alcohol. I don't mean, oh, I take a little bit of alcohol and this much water in this. And no, that's not water.
Right.
I mean plain old water. Get a bottle and just fill the bottle up. This is probably I probably have like 3 bottles of these ones per day for sure. But you got to drink plenty of water. The number two things that they can do even better than water is sleep. Because when you sleep, when you in your sleep, your actually body enhances all your detox pathways. So start to clean up everything from inside out, right? And it will try to clean the liver out first and try to get that. And it never get to the skin because you don't sleep long enough. So having a good sleep pattern or having a long sleep, like at least 7 to 8 hours a day, all these is going to help enhance detoxification of every single thing, and it's going to make your skin look better. I know we have glutathione to helps with detoxification as well, but that's pushing from outside in, right?
Mhm.
I have to take it from inside out, and that comes from the sleep as well, right? So those two things doesn't cost you anything, literally, and
Right.
will do more benefit for you than any of the skin. Will do more benefit than my skincare line itself.
Yeah.
This is those two things, and of course, avoiding toxins. So not drinking alcohol. Alcohol it dehydrates your whole body. It defeats the purpose of drinking water completely. Smoke inhalations, right? Either cigarette smoking, vaping, whatever form you take smoke into your lungs, that is actually wiping off all the benefits that you're going to get. And so, yeah, those two avoid as much as possible.
Terrific. Well, Nyan, so good to reconnect with you, brother. I'm so glad. And I'm so glad I caught the podcast and figured out that, and like I said, I'm just on auto ship. So it took me a little while to find out that you had way more products than I even knew. So I'm so glad. And thank you so much for the very generous lineup that you sent me. I'm ready to get through this whole deal, and I'll send you, like I said, the before and the after photos just to have for your team's records. And with that, I guess I'll obviously have the website and the show notes. Anything else we need to cover before we go?
Yes, I just want to make sure people understand that I was using my copper peptide for hair loss. If you can see me right now, I did not grow hair. So just FYI, full disclosure, okay? I did use it for hair loss because there's research out there that proves it for hair loss, but it did not work for me at all. There's research out there that it shows that it can also reduce gray hair. And it
I saw Dave Asprey said his hair had changed color since he was using it.
And the thing is, it's a hit and miss. I had another lady, she was 64 years old. Both the sisters, there were two sisters, and one lady, all her gray hair went away. Her own sister, her own sibling, didn't do nothing.
Interesting. Interesting.
So it did not do for me either. It helped Dave, but it did not help me either. So it's again, you do it, you try it. If it doesn't work out, it still has all those other benefits. It may not have the benefits of the hair loss or the gray hair. I'm sorry.
If I'm using it for that, Nyan, do I need to apply it on my hair, like with my shampoo, or is it just by using it on my face, it may have the added benefit? Or does it matter?
I think proximity makes sense as much as possible, but you don't have to shampoo it off though. You just have to apply it and just leave it in there.
So like for me, like my hair's still hanging in there pretty well, except for I've got the male pattern balding like right in here. So I'd probably like put it right on there and just as an experiment to try for a while.
Sure.
Okay. That makes sense.
You can put it on your face too. And again, the skin cells are going to be everywhere. So it's going to transport to the nearby cells as well.
Okay. All right. Very good. Good to know. And then all the other stuff is on my face. I'm just putting it. I'm not putting it. Okay. Yes. Very good.
Face, neck down. So I'm bald. So I put everywhere.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I did want to ask you is I take I have an ultra. It's a very nice ultra moisturizer that I was using at post my laser thing that I'm still going through. Is it okay to use it with these products, or should I just stay away from it until I'm done going through your regimen?
If your product is completely clean, has no active chemicals inside that can be toxic for you, you can use that for sure. That will be the last step.
Got it. And that's exactly what I was doing, because I was like, just a little bit more moisture at night before I go to bed.
That's right.
Okay. Terrific. Nyan, brother, so good to catch up with you, man. Thanks for making the time. And I will I'm going to get Gus to get over from North Carolina. We'll get Lee Aaron to join us, and we'll go somewhere out there and sit on the water and have some good fellowship and talk about biohacking and longevity and all these cool things that we get to experiment with.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nyan. Folks, thank you so much for listening. He is Dr. Nyan Patel, dear friend, super, super, super smart guy. Thanks for listening to us. I'm Jason, and we're out. All right. Let's see.
The content provided in this podcast, The Healthy CEO, is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. The opinions expressed by our hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Healthy CEO. Any information provided by our hosts or guests, including any physicians who may appear on the podcast, is solely for informational purposes and does not create any doctor-patient relationship. Listeners are advised to consult with their healthcare providers before making any changes to their health routines. The Healthy CEO and its affiliates assume no responsibility or liability for any consequence resulting directly or indirectly from any action or inaction you take based on the information provided in this podcast.